Hi Internet, welcome to the Troyan YouTube channel here with another rock reaction. So it is a beautiful, bright, sunshiny day, so what better song to react to than Iron Maiden's Fear of the Dark. This is from Rock in Rio, so I have not, actually I might have actually seen this on VH1 Classic at some point. But yeah, this is one of my favorite Maiden songs, and I assume it's going to be a killer live performance. This is per request, so I'm going to be reacting to Iron Maiden Fear of the Dark Rock in Rio live.
A light in the black, or just a fear of the dark. Dark room, night are strolling through the park. When the light begins to fade, sometimes feel a little strange, a little anxious when it's dark. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a constant fear that something's always there. Fear of the dark, you. Fear of the dark. Have a phobia. Someone's always there.
Yeah, I think that melodically, this is one of the strongest Iron Maiden songs, possibly the strongest in terms of composition. Really strong melody, great chord progression, cool lyrics, appropriately epic for its length. Like, we're about to get into a build here that's just really, really awesome, and then the energy kicks up. This basically has everything you want in a metal epic, in that it's a song that very much feels epic. Just the soft beginning and knowing where it builds up to. It's just it's just one of those songs that just, it feels iconic. And it's sort of ironic that amongst a lot of Maiden circles that I run in, they kind of write off this song and write off the entire album, and I'm like, you're absolutely freaking nuts. This is a stone cold classic, one of the best cuts in the catalog. So I'm going to rewind a little bit because we're about to get to that transition. Yeah, what a just perfect hook. I mean, I feel like this is the kind of song that could appeal to like the average pop fan, where like you could just play this for someone who's just into pop music and have them listen to this and like, damn, that's a catchy song. This is freaking great. Just awesome. Come on. I mean, man, jumping in the air, kicks, uh, Bruce Dickinson, like, even if there's I'm trying to, phrase this correctly. Um, Bruce Dickinson sings in a style that I'm not as into. I'm not as into the operatic metal vocals. Um, but even someone who is not as into that style, like, has to recognize the sheer brilliance of him as a frontman and his brilliance as a vocalist. I think it's because I want maybe a little bit more nuance to some of the vocal performances. Like, I'm not going to be able to get the tender ballads sung by Bruce Dickinson in a way that like a Phil Lynott or a John Lennon would sing a tender ballad, or even Ozzy. But what he does so incredibly well. And as a performer, like, he's up there with the greats of, like, Dave Lee Roth and Freddie Mercury. We're just, I mean, shoot, I'm going to rewind and just watch him jump through the air again. But the amount of energy that he displays on stage, it just makes you pumped. Like, you can't watch Iron Maiden and not be pumped. So I'm going to rewind a little bit and then we'll get back to it. Look at that. Freaking rad. Love this hook. Nice.
When I'm walking a dark road, I am the man who walks
Now it's time for an outfit change and some water. Yeah, that is freaking phenomenal. Great. I mean, sort of my closing thoughts as I was watching, I was thinking, how many, I've done hard rock and metal for years. A lot of people will argue about, the definition of metal and whether or not certain bands are considered metal. Like it seems like back when I was coming up, there seemed to be this tendency like anything that wasn't meeting a certain standard of heaviness was no longer considered metal. So there'd be people who would say Judas Priest isn't metal, and they'd say Iron Maiden isn't metal, just because it wasn't as heavy as the most brutal death metal out there. And so I got really burnt out on the whole metal arms race. But a lot of those bands would still list Iron Maiden as an influence, but as someone who has gone to like a lot of like metal shows on like a lower level, like a lot of them just like don't have like the stagecraft of like running around, energy, like being able to work the crowd, flying your guitars in the air and doing jumps and stuff. Like so many metal bands I know are just like, we're gonna sing like this, and like standing still and not realizing like, hey, like move and entertain. So, from like a pure like performance standpoint, Maiden is, phenomenal in that sense, one of the best live bands ever. But then you have on top of it a perfectly composed song. We're just like, it's perfect. There's like zero flaws in this piece. So you've got a killer band with a killer song in front of what like 200,000 people or whatever that crazy crowd size is. Like it's hard to top that. That is just stinking phenomenal. And I would be surprised if even like someone who isn't into metal can't recognize the greatness that's going on here. We're just like, just everything is top notch. Everyone's firing on all cylinders. Like I have zero complaints with it. It's perfection. And even if it's the kind of thing where someone might not be into 7-minute songs, I think in at least this live context, it's undeniable because there's some songs where maybe you might not want to listen to a 7-minute studio track, but I think this is a song that, well, I love the studio track. I think this song it sells live, and it fits the live setting so well. Where if you were at this concert, I feel it's impossible not to get into it. So yeah, if you don't like it, please explain why, because I don't understand. And let's see what the algorithm is recommending to me. So it's like, hey, you want to watch some AC/DC? Oh, yeah, probably, because I did an AC/DC on my Patreon. Let's see. More of the Hill. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. More Maiden. A bunch of mythology videos. Iron Man the Klansman. And Joe Rogan making fun of SJW Comics. So there you go. That is what my feed is suggesting to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to do the liking, the commenting, the subscribing, all those good things. And have a good one. Bye, everyone.